So one of the first hurdles you have to get over whenever you're going to start a solar car team is like, well, you know, telling your students what it is, but then ultimately you have to figure out where to get your parts. There's not like a one-stop shop to get them. So Doc had asked me to put together a materials list, because we're always looking every year, and every year there's always something new. And first thing I want to say is this is not a definitive list of all the parts. This is a place, a jumping off point for you to get started. These are all the places that we've gone to buy stuff. And so I'm going to talk about the parts, where you can locate some things, and then how you can, sometimes if you're a public school, how you can find the monies to pay for stuff.
1 second.
And the first part we need is a device that helps you change the sliders.
There we go. So, you know, one of the things you're going to need to buy are solar panels, right? Whether you're in any division, you'll need solar panels. So these are some sites that are pretty reliable, and this is a place where a lot of teams have bought their panels before. Wholesale Solar, they've got a variety of panels. They have fantastic customer service. I haven't had any issues talking to somebody. They actually, our very first year, talked us into some US-made panels versus some ones we were going for. They told us that, hey, we've got these panels at the same price, they're just discontinued. And that set us on a road that, of panels, of figuring out the differences between panels that we had never thought of before. So Wholesale Solar is a great place to go. SMB Solar, they're out of North Carolina. They make military-grade solar panels. They make solar panels for the military. And they can make them custom for you. And if you want custom panels, it's not that much more. If you want some custom panels, just pay attention to how they function. And one of the things you want to pay attention to is how do those panels function at different temperatures. Okay, so pay attention to the data sheets. Civic Solar, they're really good. If you like, we really like the Panasonic panels. They seem to perform really well in the heat. So that's something you want to look at. They have a really good temperature range, and they've just been really solid as far as how well they perform. So Civic Solar provides the Sanyo Panasonic panels. Look into those. They have a patent on them that no other solar panel company can get to, and so they put out a lot of power. And then if you're so inclined to try to integrate solar cells into your car, the ones that I would recommend is SunPower. I have a link on here. SunPower, they have 22.5 and 23.9 for schools and universities. So they do have the ones that you want to use if you're already in the advanced class. One of the interesting thing about these, in the past, it was really arduous to solder solar cells together. They were fragile, they would break. If you didn't do it right, you built the whole panel, and if you got one thing wrong, it wouldn't work. And if you're a teacher like me, sometimes students don't have that attention to detail, so we've always shied away from doing that. But SunPower came out with these Maxion cells. They're 5" by 5". They're solid copper on the back, and they're semi-flexible. If you go on and watch their videos, you can call and talk to them. They're probably the solar cell on the market right now as far as individual cells. So this is some information you can use to look into your solar panels and what you want to use. That's okay. Okay. So the next thing you're going to need are some kind of a charge controller, multi-point power tracker, aka MPPT, power tracker, or charge controller. Some of the ones that have been really popular is definitely Outback in the center. And then you have Midnight Solar. Midnight Solar is really good. They have fantastic customer service. They're out of Seattle, Washington, in that area. And then all the way on the far right, that is a RaceMax 600. They're from Ariel, and they're out of Australia. Those are built specifically for solar car racing. Now, I will tell you this, don't flip any dip switches while they're live. You'll blow them up, and that's $800 down the tubes. We found that out our first year. But some of the places you can buy power tractors is Wholesale Solar, Midnight Solar, Ariel, Genasun, and then Outback Power. A lot of teams have been using Midnight and Outback. You can also use some of the Snyder brands. It's really your preference. Go out there and look what's going to work best for your car, okay? Teams always ask me, would you buy this? I said, I don't know your car. You really want to make the decisions for your vehicle. That's how your team's going to learn. And from mistakes and from things that you learn is where you get the greatest knowledge. The next slide, please. Okay, and then batteries. Wholesale Solar also sells batteries, so you can get panels, power tractors, and batteries from Wholesale Solar. Sunextender.com, they make really good batteries. A lot of teams use those in their car. We use those. One of the sites that's really good, if you're looking at using lithium batteries and you're just getting into it, Battery Space, batteryspace.com, they sell a turnkey lithium battery pack. You can do 48, 60, 72, 84, 96, and they sell them the pack with the battery management system. If you know anything about lithium, you have to have a battery management system or they can burn, catch on fire. And then you've got dcbattery.com and then powersonic.com. All these websites are good ones to go to. You're going to have good customer service as far as getting a hold and talking and researching the batteries. Research your batteries, look at what's going to fit in your car, what size they are, how much power you need. Of those natures. And so Sun Extender, they're all lead acid based, sealed batteries. And then for lithium, Battery Space is good. If you're actually looking at building your lithium battery pack from scratch with like the 18650, what we call like the Tesla cells, they sell those as well, and they're Panasonic. You're not going to get a counterfeit. You got to be real careful going on eBay and buying those cells because there's a lot of counterfeits out there. They'll have a capacitor and a smaller cell inside of it, and you're not going to get the power that you're looking for. So make sure that you buy from either straight from Panasonic for those, or you go to Battery Space. You can call them and talk to them, and they'll help you out. And they sell all the protected circuit modules and battery management systems for lithium batteries. Okay, motors and controllers. Man, this is a huge area. There's so many different motors and controllers out there. What I would say is, look at the data sheets. Look at the power curves on them. Look at whether they are a high torque motor or they put out more RPMs and what's going to be best for you. Like if you got a real heavy car, you probably want a motor that's going to have a considerable amount of torque to handle your takeoff. Some of the motors available are brushless, brushed, Mitsuba motor, that's a hub motor. And then you've got all different kinds of motor controllers. So Cloud Electric's a good place to go for your motors. You can buy the wiring for the motor. You can buy full kits motor with the controller. You have Electric Motorsports. They're another one. E-Drives, Thunderstruck. They're all going to sell the same stuff, but you might get a better deal at a different place. And then Mitsuba motors. These guys are out of Japan, and they actually, Nomuriko, I should have put that up there. Nomuriko, you can find Nomuriko on Facebook. And I should have added this and I didn't, so I apologize. But Nomuriko's on Facebook. They are the solar car motor supplier for a lot of college teams, high school teams. I know that Liberty Christian runs Mitsuba. Choctaw put one in there, and I think New York has one in theirs. But that motor's fantastic. If you want to go online and look at it, they have it set up to where it actually gaps. They have it set up as a transmission with a paddle shift where it'll space the gap on that motor. But they're a little pricey. So Cloud Electric, Electric Motorsports, EV Drives, Thunderstruck, these are all fantastic websites to buy your powertrain for your vehicle. Oh, went too far. I need to go back one, please. Okay, so this is a little convoluted. I'm pretty sure that this will be available for you. And there's also a parts list on the website with all these websites. So for switches, disconnects, lights, fuses, and wire, you've got, it's unending like what you want to make your car look like. Make sure that you get amber and red DOT lights for the rear of your vehicle for blinkers and stoplights. There's a lot of varieties of straight trailer light kits that you can put on the rear of your car. They're going to pass DOT, and they're going to be bright enough to where another solar car coming up behind it can see it stopping or signaling. Fuses, a lot of them here. Mauser Electronics, Electric Motorsports, E-Drives, a lot of the ones for the motor, they sell all these fuses and stuff as well. One of the things that I think is pretty standard now for solar car is the Albright ED250 or ED250B up in the upper right-hand corner. That's the disconnect. It's a push-pull. These are probably the best disconnects for your car. I think, are these the only ones that are allowed now?
We don't require a particular push-pull, but it's very popular because it's available as opposed to voltages.
It's reliable, and here's the other thing. You got a data sheet to back it up. If you go buy stuff off of eBay, all you're going to have is the eBay thing, and you're not going to know. And from experience, I will tell you this. You buy something off of eBay that doesn't have a data sheet to back it up, and you put it in your car, you go to turn it off, and it doesn't turn off because those contacts have fused on the inside because you're running it. You might be running something that said it was 48, but it was really built for 12 volts. You don't want that to happen. So you can get the Albright or Albright like disconnects or push-pull on and off, and you'll have a data sheet for it, and you know that it's going to be rated for either 96, 48, 60, or whatever battery pack you're going to run. All of your fuses you can get through any of the other ones. Granger is a good one. McMaster Car, you guys that are involved in robotics, y'all know what McMaster Car is. You can buy all your little parts and everything from there. I will tell you this. No, that's for the next slide. But wiring, Cloud Electric, I'm going to recommend this. Use welding cable for your main wiring. Don't use speaker wire. I was talking to Capel a while back, and one year they had an issue where they just couldn't get the car to go out there and go. I think they got like 3 miles, and I asked Mike, I said, what was y'all's problem? He said that speaker cable had burned from the inside out, and they couldn't tell that it was messed up. So, but if you use welding cable, it's going to be rated for the kind of amperage that your car is going to pull, and you're not going to have to worry about it. And it's got the right insulation to handle any kind of heat. So welding cable is what you want to go for. Cloud Electric, Electric Motorsports, and E-Drives, they all carry that. So speedometer, low voltage alarm, volt amp meter. We've been playing with the Pi Top. And I'm going to tell you right now, the Pi Top has some fantastic capabilities. We're going to look to move into having the straight up digital display on the front that has everything. You can build in your low voltage alarm, your speedometer, all of it. The curve is you got to learn some programming, and we're kind of working on that. But if you're wanting to get your car built, get the down and dirty version, low voltage alarms, 12 volt technology. This is a great one. The low voltage alarm is integrated into your main on-off button for your auxiliary system. And so when it's on, you've got it there. It gives you a digital readout of what level your battery is, and then it has a visual and very loud audible tone. There's another battery status one. You can get it from Rig Runner, battery stuff. You can buy volt and amp meters from eBay or Amazon. And then GPS speedometer, you can get it from Speed Hut or eBay. We found that the GPS speedometer is the easiest one to install. You put it in there, you hook a battery up to it, you put your GPS antenna up, and it's super accurate. Especially if you're going to do the road race, you need to know what your speed is because you can't drop below 15 miles an hour, so you kind of need to know. But the Pi Top can handle all this if you can program it. I will say this, the fuse box that's right there on the left side, third one down, that's from Rig Runner. This is a fantastic fuse box. This really allows you to isolate things from the frame of your vehicle because you can't have anything grounded to the frame. The other thing that I will say is when you're looking for different components that are going to go on there, go look for marine grade components because they're all isolated anyways. And so they're going to be protected from any kind of weather. And they're not much more. And like the 12 volt technology, the low voltage up there, that's all isolated. It's all covered. You don't have naked prongs that you have to heat shrink. You can hook the wires up, heat shrink those, and it's sealed off. Let's see here. Okay. Sprocket seats, seat belts, brakes, and steering. For your seat belts and your race seat, if you choose to go that route, you can get that from Summit Racing, or you can get it from Jegs. Sprockets. I've listed 3 that I know that are pretty good at Sprockets. Rocketsprocket.net. Those guys were really good. When we told them we were with the school, they gave us a discount. And depending on what size sprocket you want to make, as long as you know, like if you're using a motorcycle rear end, which a lot of teams do, just tell them what that wheel's off of. They'll have the proper spacing, diameter, and the bolt pattern, and they can make you a sprocket to the diameter that you want if you're wanting to play with your gear ratios. If you have a wheel that you don't know, you can give them the custom dimensions, just measure it with a caliper, and then give it to them, and then they'll make it for you and send it to you. They're not real expensive. I think the most we've ever paid for a custom sprocket was $125. But that can make a lot of difference when you're looking at gear ratios and moving your car. Motivational tubing, you can get seat belts and seats there. Brakes, Martin Custom Products, MCP brakes, these are fantastic brakes. I would highly suggest looking into those. We put those on our car, and they have better braking than anything that we've had previously. You can get those through MCP brakes or motivational tubing, the chassis shop, and then you can get some brakes and stuff through AliExpress, which allows you to shop overseas directly from China, Taiwan, any of those countries in that area. Steering, motivational tubing has steering. They have chassis components. The chassis shop, Go Power Sports. Go Power Sports, they'll sell you like in the bottom corner, in the bottom there, where you see the steering wheel rack and pinion and the steering knuckle. You can get kits like that. Okay, suspension, wheels, nuts and bolts. If you're going to do a double A-arm suspension, if you can work in to have some kind of suspension on the car, man, it makes for a better ride, and it makes for better protecting your components that are on the car. We've raced a lot of years with no front suspension, but we had rear suspension, just because sometimes you have design issues and you have to go with a solid front end. But if you can work in a suspension, you can buy double A-arm kits. Now, I will tell you, when you buy the double A-arm kits, I wouldn't go with the shocks they come with. Go source your own for the weight of your car so that you have the proper shock weight. If not, you can have problems where your car is going to be a little unstable, because we've seen that, and it's not pretty because it looks like it's going to go over. So make sure that you know what the weight of your car is, how much the front is, and so that you can get the proper shock for your car. But buying the kit that has your hubs, the disc brakes, and everything, if you can find something like that, that'll work. Metal construction. Online Metal is a great place to go and to research your different metals, so you can research weight, cost, length, the wall thickness. And then look for your local metal suppliers so that you're not having to ship it, because Online Metals, if I bought all our metal there, it would be really cost prohibitive because of shipping and getting it from them that way. But we go and use QMF Steel. That's out of Greenville. I know that's local, but you guys are going to have specialty metal suppliers where you live. You just got to reach out. If you call your local steel provider and say, hey, where can I get specialty metal like aluminum or chromoly, they'll tell you, because that's who they buy it from, and then you can call them and make a deal with them. Wix Aircraft is another one that sells chromoly 4130. Nuts and bolts. I haven't seen anybody beat the price on Bolt Depot. One of our local suppliers says, hey, I think I can beat that price, and he came back and said, no, we bought 100 pounds of nuts and bolts, grade 8, for $350. So I'll give you one piece of advice. When you're prototyping, get rid of anything that's not grade 8, okay? Because here's what's going to happen. You're going to be putting bolts in there just to prototype, and then you're going to tell the kids to change it. And if you know kids are not going to change it, then they're going to get the scrutineering. You're going to be like, well, I told you to change it. If you prototype everything with a grade 8 bolt, you're not going to have a problem at scrutineering having to go back and find one, because once everybody starts going through it, all the shops around here, lo and behold, the bolt you need is not there because somebody already went and bought it. So I would buy all grade 8 bolts, do all of your construction from the very beginning with those, and you won't have a problem not having the proper bolt in your car. Wheels, you can get wheels from Summit Racing. There's this one website called Treatland TV, and they sell all kinds of moped rims, scooter rims, and wheels, and they sell tires and tubes. They sell brake components. The customer service with them is a little bit slow. I'm pretty sure those guys are surfers, and they have this site that supports their habit. But when they do respond, they respond really well. The site's really interesting because they rate everything in tacos. So like if it's good, it'll be like 4 tacos. If you want to buy it, you feed the mouth and you buy it. But they have all kinds of wheels and parts. And then if you're going to go with a 4-wheeler A-arm front end setup, which a lot of teams have done, a lot of times you're figuring out, how do I get the wheel that I want to fit onto that bolt pattern? Well, Adapter Kings, they will make any wheel adapter to go from automotive to ATV, ATV to automotive. They'll go from 3-lug to 4-lug, 3-lug to 6-lug. They'll make any of them right there. So you put the spacer on there, and then let's say you buy a wheel from Summit Racing, which is a light aluminum wheel, then you can bolt it right on. We've done that with our cars. Our 2-seater, if you're there this summer, you'll see it. That's what we're using on there. And it also helps you to get your car wider for more stability. You know, pay attention to your width versus length on the stability of your vehicle. And then, let me go back. If you are going to be doing any composite materials, Express Composites, they sell the carbon fiber material, all your resins, Kevlar, the Nomax that goes in between them, or aluminum honeycomb. Shrink wrap, if you're wanting to shrink something around your car, I know that later tomorrow they'll do a part of the workshop is how to use shrink wrap. We use it on our cars to create an aerodynamic body. So you can buy that from AmeriCover or Big Shrink. I would recommend buying the heaviest weight they have. Usually it's 12 mil, because that's going to it's going to be stiffer, more rigid, and it's going to keep anything that hits it to just bounce off. They also sell something called a shrink fast heat gun. That works off of propane. That'll allow you to shrink it really quick. We don't use it, but it's there. I know other teams have. We just use a regular heat gun you would go buy at the automotive store. It gives you more control to shrink things so that you can kind of see how it's going to fit. And then if you need to get some foam to make if you're going to make a plug in order to make a carbon fiber body, you can order the foam to create that shape from ElliottFoam.com. Okay. And then obviously Amazon.com, eBay, and Walmart.com. These are all like one-stop shops. If you don't know, Walmart sells stuff from all other companies. So you can buy a lot of good stuff there. We bought meters, low voltage alarms. We bought a lot of stuff off of eBay. We bought all of our swing arms that we used on the rear of our car from eBay because it's just cheaper. And then Amazon, you can get anything there. So you can use these as a one-stop shop. And then I'll just give you some advice on ordering things from China. There's nothing wrong with that. You can get some pretty good stuff, and you can save some money. Just go ahead and expect extended shipping. You may get incomplete parts. So on our 2-seater, we bought our entire front end kit from China. It was $250. It came with spindles, brakes, A-arms, rack and pinion, the steering. And when we got it in, we unboxed it, and we had an upper A-arm missing. We had some other stuff missing. And trying to communicate with the company, I think after a month, we finally got through to somebody, and they said that it all shipped, and we just threw our hands up. And there's no warranty. I mean, if you want to try it, you might spend a year trying to get the money back or parts back. But if you're going to buy from there, just expect it's like investing in the stock market. Hopefully you get a good return. Alibaba and AliExpress, those are the common ones. There's some good stuff on there. I don't want to deter you from buying there. Just know what you're getting into. We finally ended up having to make our own parts. I had a kid said, take this A-arm, go duplicate it. He duplicated it, brought it back, and we put it in. And then some of that stuff is not machined to the best tolerances. Our spindles, we had to get rid of those and buy Honda spindles and put them on the A-arms. That's just our experience. when you're contacting a company to buy a part, like say your panels, I'll tell you this, Wholesale Solar, the first year we bought our panels, I said, hey, would you guys be interested in kind of explaining to them what Solar Car is and what we're doing? Would you be interested in sponsoring these or doing a partial sponsorship? And they were like, well, I don't know. I said, well, will you do free shipping? He says, well, let me ask my boss. And they said, okay, free shipping. You won't ever know if you don't ask, okay? And you can be real polite about it. And if you have pictures, you can send them, or you have a website set up and they can kind of see that. That'll help. We do that. Anytime we're going to buy something really big, we'll do that. Approved vendors. So I'm an ISD, independent school district in the state of Texas. One of the hurdles we have is we have to have an approved vendor before we can go buy stuff. And so one of the things that we've done is we found one in our town. It's Henley Auto Parts, and it's owned by a guy named Randy. And he's an approved vendor. And he said, I'll buy anything you want from anywhere in the world. I said, will you be our sponsor? We're not asking for money. All we're asking is, will you buy this stuff for us? And so he's like, yeah. And so he's really stepped in, and I figured it up the other day. He saved us roughly $50,000 since we've been doing Solar Car, because we haven't had to go to another company. I'm not going to name them, but a top automotive chain that's in our town. They said they would order anywhere, but they had to put a 25% markup on it. And I'm like, we can't do that. So sometimes there's a hurdle there. Build a relationship with a locally owned business, and they can help you source the parts and then make it easy. If you don't have an issue with approved vendors, then you can really get out there and find the deals on eBay and Amazon to help your car out and save that money. Let me say one other thing. How many schools in here are a public school? Okay, you guys all know about Perkins Grant, right? Have y'all heard of Perkins? It's a federal grant that supplies equipment for career and technology classes. So the first year that we built the car, well, I went and got the Perkins grant and read what the criteria is. They'll buy equipment, they will not buy consumables. So here's what equipment is. That electric motor, we break one down and use it as instruction in the class. Every year you put it back together, that's equipment. Your solar panels are instructional. They last from year to year. You can use those to instruct students. I pull them out, put them in the classroom, and the kids go look at them, write the data down on them. We hook them up. The big major components like your motor controller, your MPPT, all that stuff is instructional. Because you can use those solar panels not just for the solar car, but you can go out and build just an array and set it up and have the kids build and put that together. So that kind of stuff can be bought with Perkins if your district is so inclined to jump on board with you. So that's one way for you to save money where you don't have to go out and raise it in your district. They're not trying to find it in their budget. It's already in the Perkins grant. So that's something you can look at, okay? Are there any questions? Yes? Well, it depends on how your school's using it. The Perkins can be used for all kinds of equipment. Depending on the size of your school, it can be anywhere from $50,000 maybe to $150,000 a year. But your school's only going to let you have a certain amount of that money. So, is there any other questions? Yes, sir.
Could you talk about the curriculum that you have in your school, and I'm wondering if I can audit your class.
Okay. So the way that I've taught, I started off teaching Solar Car as a class by using a state class called Energy, Power, and Transportation. It's like the entry level to automotive. But what's in that is you cover internal combustion, diesel, marine, but there's a whole chapter in there over solar. So we cover everything real quick, and then I just take that chapter and blow it up. And so that was my freshman level entry class. And now I teach. All the rest of the classes are engineering classes. So you have fundamentals of engineering. You have engineering presentation 1, engineering presentation 2. So all my classes have converted to the 4 years of engineering. So we'll cover the book, stuff in the chapter, and then we'll break out, and then we'll cover what we need to do for the car. So a lot of stuff as far as design, like I have had the classes, I said, so you need to go out in the shop, take measurements, and you need to design the new openings on the car, or we need to design this. And so we'll go and do the research, and that all gets incorporated into that engineering class. So we've got the state-approved class, and then we have the textbook. And because it's a career and technology class and not a core class, I'm able to write the curriculum however I want. Does that make sense?
outsider like me audit your class?
Like what? Like, define audit.
Just sit in your class and observe the class.
Oh yeah, you sure can. I will tell you right now, it'll look somewhat chaotic because when you got kids going and doing all kinds of stuff, it's a little bit different. So yeah, that wouldn't be a problem if you'd want to come out and see what we do. Every day's different. One of the things with a project-oriented class, it doesn't look like sitting in a math class. It doesn't look like sitting in an English class. It doesn't look like sitting in a history class. Because first thing, we're not sitting. We may sit there, get a little information, and then we're going to break up into groups, and those groups are going to figure out what to do. And every day and every year I sit there and go, oh man, I could have done more, because I'm always real hard on myself. I always want it to go like this. I always want it to be, we get in our groups, every kid researches something, then every group gets up and does a presentation to the other groups to fill them in. My goal is to get there. I'm not always getting there because invariably something comes up during class where one group needs more attention. Like right now we were doing a test bench on a hub motor, and that hub motor was giving us problems, so it took more attention, and so then you kind of see how it's an ebb and flow kind of a class. So, but if you would want to come out, I would be welcome to that, no problem. Yes.
And Joel, just as a side note real quick, we are broadcasting this and recording it, so please wait for the microphone for your question so that the public gets it. Thank you.
All right, Texas Instrument, weren't they a leading researcher in solar power? Didn't they have a spherical design on solar cells on the individual components inside the cell? Didn't they surpass 23.9%?
I haven't looked. The last one that I looked at, and I can't remember the college, but a college did it in the laboratory on a research college, and they got to 49%. But that's totally in the laboratory. The ones that I'm offering are the ones that you can buy right now. So I haven't read anything about Texas Instruments, but now that you said that, I'm going to probably go back and look into that.
Yeah, the type of doping of the chemicals on the silicon surface, they don't utilize much beyond the UV radiation band. So, and are you guys looking at lithium, not lithium ion, but lithium batteries yourself? Is there anything that they're coming out? They're going to be coming out with a technology where they're not going to use a paste between the electrodes. It's going to be plastic.
So for us, this year, lithium that's where our learning curve is happening. So we've been doing solar cars since 2012, but now we're moving into the advanced division and looking at doing a lithium battery pack. And I was explaining to some people earlier, it's like doing solar car for the first year again, because there's a learning curve going. Lead acid, they're pretty safe. When you go to a straight lithium battery, you have to build in all the protection modules and the battery management system.
The plastic design doesn't have dendrites building between the electrodes.
I haven't
rid of your problem.
We're so new to the lithium battery, I haven't had a chance to research any of that.
You're also talking about a 400% increase. If you go straight up lithium, you'll have a 400% increase in electron density on that battery too.
Well, I'll have to look at that.
Is there someone here from Texas Instrument that's might be able to talk about those solar cells?
Their solar cells were spherical, and then they sold off that division to a company in Canada. So, no, that didn't work out for us.
Manufacturing cost?
Right.
Okay, so I basically heard something random about 400% electron density. Does that mean it can just hold more of a charge? Wow. Can it charge faster as well? Only thing that could be better is that we went from lithium to graphene. I mean, there are some companies making batteries.
Lithium batteries are more efficient in holding the charge. They're more efficient in charging. So there's more of a power density and a smaller package with lithium, which means you have less weight. Less weight in the car means that you can run further, faster, or longer, however you want to dice it up. Is there any other questions? Okay, if you don't have any questions now or you want to contact me later, my information, if you go onto the website and go to any of the team profiles, you can go there, find our information, go to our website, and contact me anytime. I'm free to answer any questions. If you want to ask me anything about our solar car program, We decided last year we're not holding back anything. You want to know how we hook stuff up, we're going to tell you. We're not holding anything back. We'll share everything with you, all the way down to strategy, components, all that. It's just up to you and your decision on how you're going to use it, okay? Yes, sir.
Get cold and go see your solar car?
Absolutely. Let me give the guys the keys to go get it out. All right.
I think there was another question from that side.
Did y'all have another question?
It was just about a presentation to get that PowerPoint.
I think y'all will put this online. Okay, fantastic. Okay.
For those who are live here, all presentations that are given during this workshop will be uploaded onto our workshop webpage, so you should be able to download all these presentations.
Okay.
What is the webpage address?
solarcarchallenge.org/challenge/workshop. But just go to Solar Challenge. There's a workshop link.
Okay. If y'all have any questions later that you don't think of, I'm here. So, thank y'all.